up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up.
Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with head coach Scott Langer. And coach, a lot to talk about. 3 games in 3 days and 3 wins in 3 days. And some really wild matchups. We start things off Thursday here at the ODI Center with the 3-2 win over Minot. Fitzy gets a power play goal. Murphy gets his 5th goal of the year. Then Carter Rue, his 8th of the season. The power play went 104. 3 unanswered in the 3rd period. How does it... You know, we talked a little bit previously about comeback wins and what they mean for confidence and so on. But that really kind of set the tone for the weekend, didn't it, Coach?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that just builds your confidence heading into the next 2 nights. And, you know, to do it against a team like Minot, you know, which is not an easy feat. You know, but our guys really came together. The leadership stepped up, and you know, in between the 2nd and 3rd period, and you know, our guys went out there pretty determined. It was pretty evident by the play on the ice, and you know, to have Murphy score that big one, you know, and then Carter Root to get the game winner, was pretty good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. A huge crowd Thursday night, and a big crowd, of course, Friday night too, even better. But great games and a couple of big wins Friday, as we talked about. Bismarck comes to town. Wings end up beating them 2-1. Power play 0-3, but more impressive I thought was the kill that went 0-6 against a Bismarck team that I think was 4th in the league in their power play coming in. So that was really impressive. Tyler Bossert gets his 12th of the season, and Rue his 9th, and a shorthanded goal too. So again, power play, special teams coming in big on night number 2 with both the shorthanded goal, but then certainly that being able to kill off 6 different penalties. That a pretty potent Bobcat power play. Skating out. So again, Saturday, you know, you don't like to critique wins and so on. I just think it's a good idea, or I like to point out the positives for sure, and those are certainly some of them, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're playing a team that has a very good power play, and you know, certainly when you put a team on that many power plays on the road, it could really hurt you. But our penalty kill responded in a big way, and you know, to get that shorthanded goal was crucial for us. And you know, sometimes you have to utilize your specialty teams to win games, and we certainly did that night. You know, it was a real good game. I mean, especially for us being able to win a 1-goal game, a tight game, you know, just shows that our guys are really starting to buy into our defensive stuff that we've been working on, and we know going down the stretch it's going to be real important. So, you know, to get that win, especially in front of our fans, was you know, huge, especially coming off the win against Minot, and you know, then having a hit on the road for your 3rd game in 3 nights being on the road.
Yeah, well, and you know, I want to comment too on Artu Kamala, and I thought he had a really good 3rd period, particularly here at home, and a huge save late in the 3rd period to secure that victory over Bismarck. Coach, you know, as you mentioned just now, you know, then you've got to turn around the next day and get on the road and go back up to Bismarck after having played 3 games. Guys are tired; they're getting wore down. That's tough. What did you say to the team when you're up in Bismarck to I don't know, have them dig that much deeper to play that 3rd game as intensely as they did?
Well, I mean, we just talked about the obvious. I mean, you know, if you're lucky enough to get into the postseason, you're going to have to play quite a few games in a row. I'm sure, especially in this division, to get through it. And you know, teams that make it to the national tournament or Robertson Cup have to be able to play so many games and so many nights. So we thought it was, as a team, we thought it was a great test, you know, for us. And you know, we had to play smart hockey in order to get that. I mean, that was a team that came out fired up. I thought they played with a lot of energy, but you know, we took advantage of some specialty teams again in a big way, and I think you have to do that on the road. You have to find ways. You know, every game's different to find ways to win, and you know, in that game when the emotions are flying high, and you know, Aberdeen's just being Aberdeen. You know, you got to find certain ways, and you know, Tyler Bossert finds a way on the shorthanded. You know, pick a puck off Carter Rue, and you know, definitely a huge goal in that game. And then, you know, the performance, Kevin Fitzgerald gets on the power play, scores 2 power play goals within almost a minute apart. You know, those are big performances, and they're by veteran hockey players that are showing their true leadership.
Yeah. Well, and interesting that, you know, that we had actually back-to-back nights where shorthanded goals. Rue on Friday night, and then, as you said, Tyler Bossert skates in and was bar down on Saturday night. And as you said, it really felt like it kind of turned the tone a little bit. And that building was absolutely insane. I mean, from the coaching staff, fans, The janitors were riled up. Everybody was. It was a very intense environment, to say the least. And you know, Coach, as you know, we talked about the environment and emotion, you know, kind of boiling over. And I'm going to say this, and maybe I shouldn't, but I think you outcoached him. I really do, and because I think that Lane Sedevy was so upset with the referees and with you and with the players, with everybody else. He spent so much time yelling and so on that he wasn't paying enough attention to what was going on the ice. And you guys made some changes to lines and to the forecheck and a couple other things where they didn't seem to respond to it at first anyway. And it was interesting how it's difficult to stay composed in that situation, but you guys, you and Coach Bone, you know, kept your wits about you and kept things going. And I think that's really when things started to turn around, and you know, you get the lead, and now the wheels fall off for them. It felt like, and a lot of, as I said, an incredibly intense game, a lot of emotion in that one. But I have my hats off to you guys because there was a lot to be distracted by, and you guys, you know, made some in-game changes and so on that I think really were the difference.
Well, you know, I think all year, Jay, you know, we talked about it's just about us, and it's about the family that gets off that bus. And as a coaching staff, we just truly believe 100% of our focus needs to be on our guys and not the noise that can be around us. And you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in that series, which I just consider noise. It's you know, I've been doing this quite a few years, and I'm just at the point where it shouldn't affect the job that Coach Bone and I do, and to take your mental thought off, you know, what the players need, and especially 3 games in 3 nights, they need all your attention, and that's what we gave them. And you know what, they paid us back with an effort that was exceptional. You know, especially with you know, we used the same lineup 3 nights in a row, and that's not easy to win, you know, in 3 games. So hats off to the guys for just sticking with the game plan.
Absolutely. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, how close were you to throwing hands?
I'm just gonna move on from that question.
Okay. A lot of yelling, a lot of banter back and forth. Well, we talked about specialty teams. You know, now Wings are up to 19.4% overall on the power play, and the kill at 80.9%, and 5 shorthanded goals at this point in the season. I think that, honestly, from the beginning of the season has been you know, a dramatic improvement, and you can definitely see, as you mentioned, you know, coming into play with Kevin Fitzgerald scoring 2 power play goals on Saturday night, going 2 of 3. A major improvement, and it's really timely as well, because it's needed, you know, when you kind of go down the stretch for sure. So awesome to see the guys, you know, coming together, I guess, and those the special teams working the way they are. And I think we've talked about that week in and week out for a month now, but it continues to be a factor, so it stays relevant in my mind. But you know, once again, tight Central Division. We'll run down the standings real quick. Minot with 56 points, the Wilderness in second with 46, and then you have the Blizzard with 40, the Bruins with 40, the Wings with 39, and the Bismarck Bobcats with 37, and all 4 of the bottom 4 teams all with 18 wins. So again, very, very tight. And that kind of, I say that because it sets the tone for what's coming up this weekend. So we're going to talk about that when we come back after we hear from one of our sponsors here on Wings Weekly.
Let's make a taco. No, seriously. Start with a tortilla, soft tortilla. Warm it, kiss it, don't kiss it. Chicken? How about tequila lime chicken? Now we're cooking. Slice this, peel that, snip those. Salsa? Verde. Cheese? Cotija. Oh, forgot to mention guac. That's better. See, anyone can make a taco, but we're not anyone. We're Qdoba, and these are knockout tacos. Qdoba Mexican Eats. Choose flavor.
Welcome back to the second portion of Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect here with head coach Scott Langer. Coach, we kind of talked about what was, you know, where we're at in the standings, where everyone's at in the standings, but you know, now you've got a bunch of momentum behind you. Some big wins, an on-the-road win. And now you go on the road against the team that is only 1 point ahead of you in the standings, and you have a homestand there in Austin. How can you keep the momentum going? You know, especially against a different team, a team they haven't seen for a little bit. You know, and not only even schematically, you know, what do the Bruins bring, and maybe we can get to that in a little bit, but just on an emotional standpoint, can you keep riding that wave?
Well, I think you can ride the wave. I mean, you're also playing a team that beat one of the top teams in the entire league, in Janesville. So I mean, they're going to have confidence as well. I think it comes back to doing things the right way and consistently keeping at that. And like I said, when our guys do things our way and the way that we prepare, they're a tough team, and they give themselves a chance to win on any given night. You're facing a team like Austin, who is very well coached. They just do things the right way, especially when they play us. They put pucks in the right spots. They get timely scoring. Their goaltending's been good, and it's going to be quite the series. So our guys have to be mentally prepared, and obviously this week of practice we have to be physically prepared. And I like where our guys are mentally right now, and to see the effort they put in this last weekend. Obviously, what's done is done, but I know that they have it in them, and I think that's important.
Well, and two teams that are really heating up at the right time. It's going to be quite an epic battle there in Austin. And as you mentioned, goaltending has been key. Forrest Bourget has been playing very well. R2 comes in relief on a Friday night, played very well. Those are going to be some keys without a doubt too. Do you have the full complement of players that are you expecting? I should maybe say too, both injury and are there anything coming down from the league that you're aware of?
Yeah, no, I'm guessing we have a player having to go home for some personal reasons and deal with his family, which I feel is very important. So we're going to be short-manned again. There's no question, but it's there's no excuses, and our guys don't tend to make excuses, and they don't feel bad for themselves.
Right.
And it's one thing I really like about this team. You know what? We're going to use what we have, and we're going to go as hard as we can, and we'll see what the result is at the end of the night.
Right. Well, we talked about, kind of a breakdown, I guess, of scoring and so on in the different games. Of course, Colton Fletcher and Tyler Bosworth scoring there on Saturday night in Bismarck as well. Fletcher gets his sixth. Fitzgerald, obviously a hat trick for him up there with the finishing things off with the empty netter. A fantastic game for Kevin Fitzgerald. We've got some news that we're going to share here in just a minute as well. But I want to talk about Carter Rue, not only the goals that he was able to add, but the assists that he continues to produce. And I understand that he's been named the Central Division Player of the Week.
Yeah, and rightfully so. He was just huge for us this week. I mean, his timely assist, his playmaking ability. Obviously, he had 2 game-winning goals out of 3 games. He seems like he was really good in the face-off circle, which was really important for us. He really played solid this weekend, and it's just again, it's nice to see that the second half of the season, when players can be tiring out, especially being 20-year-old, Carter's going the other way. He just continues to improve his game, which is giving us the ability to win games. When Carter plays the way he did this weekend, that just gives us a whole new element to our game.
Yeah. Well, and the depth too. It's just that there's it just seems like on any given night somebody can be hot, and there's some guys that are kind of leading that charge. But it's an overall team effort that is definitely appreciated. Well, I talked a little bit about Fitzgerald's hat trick. Kevin Fitzgerald's leading the team with goals. Among he and Rue top on overall points. But Kevin's a great individual, and happy to announce, and I'm sure some of you have already seen this, that he is committed to St. Cloud State. And congratulations to him. And Coach, what does it mean to you when you get guys? Well, and I should be remiss if I didn't mention Sean Knowlton, of course, just recently committing to Air Force as well. What does it mean to you to have guys in your program move on to play at an elite level like that?
Well, I think it's just one of the most important elements. It's what drives me personally as a coach in this development league. To watch those guys come in your office and shake your hand and tell you that they made a decision and it's going to affect the next 4 years of their life, and a smile on their face. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. Kevin and I, obviously we've been together now quite a few years. Obviously started with me in Topeka, and then he came back the second year, and we had moved him on, and then he found his way to Aberdeen, and we just reconnected this year, and it's been great. Our relationship's been awesome. Kevin's just a tremendous individual. I mean, everybody knows by watching what he can do on the ice. The work rate he has is exceptional. But the human being he is, just to have him every day come into this locker room, and you talk about establishing a great culture. Kevin's exactly what we want as an Aberdeen wing.
Yeah, and always get a smile on his face, always positive, positive attitude. Pretty much wherever you see him, and I know I hear a lot of that from the community as well. So congratulations again to Kevin Fitzgerald and to Sean Knowlton, who last week I guess committed to the Air Force Academy. So awesome for the both of them. Want to talk about what's coming up. Of course, we talked about that the Wings are going to be on the bus headed over to Austin Friday and Saturday, February 3rd and 4th. 7:05 puck drops over there both nights. Watch it at Buffalo Wild Wings and Rings or hockeytv.com. You can also listen on 94.1 The Rock, hubcityradio.com, or the Hub City Radio app. We're back at the Odie February 10th and 11th versus the Minnesota Magicians, and February 17th and 18th versus the Bismarck Bobcats. February 18th is the annual Yilda Shrine Teddy Bear Toss, so a few dates to keep in mind, folks. And again, in action, 7:05 puck drop Friday and Saturday in Austin. You can catch those games on 94.1 The Rock, hockeytv.com, or hubcityradio.com. That'll pretty much wrap it up for this week's Wings Weekly.
Open up the champagne, pop.